And also, what is like the policeman? They had these photos from the CCTV. Like, why didn't they just follow the track, man?
He was a gifted student and many believed he would go to Cambridge. In the summer of 2006, he spent 2 weeks at a residential school for the Young, Gifted and Talented program at Lancaster University, which was designed for UK children between the ages of 11 to 16 and who were in the top 5% academically. His parents were surprised as to how much he had enjoyed it and how enthused he was upon his return. In terms of his characteristics, he was known to be an introvert and have friends, but not to socialize with.
Is it the most famous missing story
outside of school? He was known to spend a lot of time at home, but when he did go somewhere, he would always let his family
I don't think
know
I've heard
his
this
whereabouts.
before.
He also had several phones as he was growing up, but he never used them too much and so ended up losing them. Andrew looked young for his age. Although he was 14 years old, many would say he looked around 12. He was deaf in his left ear and had light brown hair which he planned to dye black.
Like we said, Chip, this guy, he's a brainiac. He seems like one of those kids, went to school, got the grades, just a well-behaved kid, no trouble.
Wasn't focused on being cool, anything like that, you know.
Did he lose his phones though?
Enjoyed doing his own little thing.
Being smart.
Getting shit done.
I was always envious of these people, you know. I wish I was up there in that academic category.
they didn't mess around in class. They could stay switched on.
Yeah, or was he the type that hardly stayed switched on, but was still really smart? They were even more annoying.
Yeah, they're stressful.
I was kind of just like cruising through school. I wasn't studying much, but I always get like C's. It's not the best, but if I had to study, I'll get better.
There was nothing unusual in the lead up to Andrew's disappearance. Only twice did he break his usual habit of taking the school bus back home. On those two separate occasions,
like
he chose to walk the 4-mile route home. The day before his disappearance was also uneventful. He went to school, they had dinner, Andrew made a jigsaw puzzle with his father and finished off the night with some comedy programs on television. However, it changed on the day of his disappearance on September 14th, 2007. He was 8 days into the school year and was unusually grumpy and irritable. His mother said this was unusual for Andrew as he would be up on time and promptly.
Why do I feel like it's gonna be some kids at school that like abducted him or did something?
He then set off at 8:05 a.m. to his usual bus stop but didn't get on the bus. Instead, he withdrew £200 from an ATM at a local garage. At the time, he only had...
Okay, wait. How old is he? Did he say he's 12?
Had 204.
And this was in like 2006? And he has £200 in his bank account. Dude, I didn't have a card until I was 17, dude.
£14 in his bank account, but the ATM would allow him to withdraw £20 at a time, and thus he took out as much as he could. Surveillance footage showed him returning home after this. Upon returning home, he put his uniform in the washing machine and changed into some other clothes. He changed into a black Slipknot t-shirt, black jeans,
good t-shirt,
trainers, and a black canvas satchel with metal bands on it. With himself, he took his wallet, keys, and his PlayStation console. He left behind his charger, passport, and £100 saved up from previous birthdays. At 8:30, he was seen going to Doncaster railway station and purchased a one-way
It kind of feels like a setup, like someone told him to do that, you know?
Ticket to London, which cost him £31.40. And at 9:35 a.m, he boarded the train to King's Cross Station alone. By 11:20 a.m, CCTV saw him arriving to King's Cross Station, and the last sighting of him was of him leaving the station at 11:25 a.m. At this stage, the school tried to contact Andrew's parents to inform them of his absence.
It's like, you're like, what, 12, 14? What is he doing there, man?
But they dialed the wrong student's number and had left a voicemail on the phone of a different family. With no voicemail, by evening, the family had dinner and assumed that Andrew was in his room studying or playing video games. When they finally realized he wasn't at home, they assumed he was at a friend's house. The parents then called Andrew's friends, who let them know Andrew was not at their house, nor had he been at school that day. At 7 p.m, the family called the police.
Is it just me, Chip? Or is it a little bit weird how all these parents are quite nonchalant about where their kids...
Yeah, that's true, man.
Their kids, do you know what I mean?
I guess he's a teenager, though. He's come home. He's probably in his...
I remember I had to like log to my mom every like couple
bedroom
hours,
playing on
like
his
where I am,
PlayStation, something that
until
you'd
I was like
expect.
16.
He's done his day, his school, standard stuff. It's a
I
normal
suppose
day.
you can't spend your whole adult life fretting about where your kid
Yeah.
is. Like, they're probably up to some dumb shit.
Not checking on him every 30 minutes, knocking on his bedroom door. You right, love?
We gotta think though, do you reckon the person that made the phone call to the wrong family to say the thing about the voicemail feels quite guilty? Because imagine if she had actually called the right phone number and notified the parents, like, hey, by the way, your kid didn't come to school,
Yeah.
they could have quickly found this out a lot quicker.
Also, like, how'd you call the wrong number,
Maybe
man?
stopped him from going to wherever he was going or
Yeah,
whatever.
Like, you got all the
It's pretty-
information.
it's a sad thing that
It's just a
mistakes
mistake,
get
sir. It's a
made.
mistake.
You can't hate on that.
You can't sit there and hate yourself alive. I mean, it is your fault, but
Yeah, it's true.
Andrew's family went over the route which he would have taken, and they searched it until nightfall in hopes of finding any clues or evidence, but nothing came from it. 3 hours after the parents realized he was missing, they already had produced missing person
Oh,
leaflets.
wait.
A couple of days later,
Yeah, this picture reminds. Yeah. I feel like I've seen this
the
picture
police had
somewhere.
talked with the ticket seller at Doncaster, who told him she had offered Andrew a return ticket as it was only 50 pence more than a one-way ticket, but Andrew refused. Andrew's father claimed that this didn't seem out of the ordinary, as he had friends and family with whom he could have stayed with in London. Despite this, the family went to London themselves to hand out flyers.
I think the most obvious
He
thing
was
you have
14,
to
okay.
ask here is it's safe to say that by him not telling his parents that he was going to be heading down to London, I think he was probably going
Up
to
to
do
something.
something that he knew he shouldn't have been doing. That's why he hasn't told the parents. And was it a case of it's easier to ask for forgiveness rather than it is to ask for permission?
Could be a strict family, like, you know, strict parents. I mean, he is only 14 years old. I mean, if I was 14, I was like to my mother, yeah, can I go to London for this? She'd be like, no.
Yeah, my family would never let me
Not
go
a
down to
chance.
London
Yep.
at the age of 14 by myself.
Probably knew that, and like you said, easy to ask for forgiveness. He's gone, he comes back, slap on the wrist, whatever, grounded for a week, but at least he got to go.
Yeah.
It took the British Transport Police
It's interesting though, because they said he has like friends in London, but like I don't think he's going to that friends in
and
London.
South Yorkshire Police
You know?
3 weeks to identify him in
Because
the
if you're gonna go to your friends in like some other city, you would just talk to your parents about that. I feel like
King's Cross
because they know them and stuff like that, right?
CCTV footage, which was then
So
circulated
he's definitely not
around
going
the
there
media.
to friends.
However, the authorities did not try to request or find any surveillance footage outside of King's Cross, such as the tube station or any
Discord
buses
friends.
around the area.
Yeah, in
Andrew's parents
2006.
called out the police for putting more effort into looking at the Gosden family rather than combing through CCTV footage. The father, Kevin, claimed that they had unlawfully recorded interviews and had also tried to pressure him into revealing Andrew's whereabouts or reasoning for his disappearance. But eventually, the whole family was cleared of any involvement. A year later, a man
Respected
came
the
to
family.
Leominster police station claiming he had information on Andrew. At this time in the evening, the police station did not have a manned reception as it was after hours, but instead used an intercom system. By the time an officer came downstairs to speak to the man, he had fled the station. The police reached out to the public, asking for the man to come back, but no one came forward. Later on, someone wrote to the BBC claiming they were the same man who visited the police station.
This is
He wrote
all
that he
kind
had
of like
seen
suspicious, you know. The police thought it's the family. I feel like they should have just checked more for the kid, you know, like, dude, he's missing. Yo,
Andrew
what up?
in
What up?
Shrewsbury, but it was never confirmed, nor was it confirmed whether it was the same man.
Why are the police not looking at the CCTV on the outside of King's Cross?
That's the thing to do.
That's what
like,
I'm
I
saying,
swear,
man.
like,
Let's just
even when
follow
you-
where he
even-
went.
Yeah, even when you watch it in movies and they're trying to trace like something that's happened, they follow the
All
the
the cameras.
breadcrumbs of the cameras. Okay, so if he's walked out of King's Cross, we should be looking at the road that's outside King's Cross, those cameras, corner shop, everything.
Just follow his track.
And they got a lot of cameras. Like, it's literally central.
Where
They
did
got
the-
cameras
where did
everywhere,
the
man.
kid go?
Mind blowing.
And they were too busy getting onto the family, thinking the family had something to do with it. Fine, that's okay. But in the background or alongside it, let's continue working as if it wasn't the family.
You know, if the ticket lady has come forward and said that he bought a ticket and she offered him,
It's just kind of weird how the police immediately thought it was them, like they had some kind of involvement in it.
everything.
You know?
How have they tied that straight to the family? He's
You would think that's like the last thing they would think, like that had involvement
obviously
with
left
it.
to go to London.
Yeah, and he had, but yeah,
Or am I
that's
just dumb?
actually such a good point. Is the fact that he said, I don't want a return. That to me is massive, and especially like, look, for 50p extra, it sounds like a bargain, right?
Yeah.
And it's a lot cheaper than him then spending another 100 quid to go back up. Do you know what I mean?
This is the thing. This is one thing I was thinking though. It's 50p,
Bro.
which is extremely cheap. I think it's a 50p day return ticket, and if he's planning on staying over somewhere,
Yeah.
why would he knows that?
Oh,
Why would he
okay.
waste his extra 50p if he knows he's not coming back on that
Okay.
day? 50p
Yeah, that's
sounds
fine.
a bit too cheap.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think you're right.
And he's obviously not ran away from home because he's left some money behind and some certain things.
So his plan was to come back at some point,
Yeah,
right?
because if you were going to actually run away from home and you're this
Take it
genius
all.
kid, you would take all of your money, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Theory number 1. Did Andrew go and meet
Ooh,
someone
theories.
he had met on the internet? There was no evidence to support
Possible.
this theory as he didn't have a laptop
Oh.
nor a computer at home,
Never
and
mind.
he didn't even have any online accounts. Digital forensics found nothing on his school computer either, and his sister was adamant he wasn't interested in social media nor connecting with people online. Another similar
That's weird, because most of these like stories that you would hear of, it will be someone on their internet and be like, yo, come over here or something like that,
theory
right?
was that he had gone to London to attend a 2007 YouTube gathering, but again, there was no evidence to support
If he didn't watch internet and he didn't use
Got
internet,
this.
I'm deaf.
They said that it might
YouTube in 2007 was not
be going
that
to like a
big.
YouTube gathering thing. I'll be perfectly honest with you. They say that he didn't have a laptop or a computer at home.
I struggle
right?
to believe
So
how
how
he
would
watched
he have been? And not only that, we got to remember this is like 2007, right?
Yep.
YouTube is at its absolute infancy. We don't even. It's not even like a. People would never say they watched YouTube back then.
No,
It was
no.
for cat videos.
We were 13 years old, and I don't really remember using YouTube that much back then.
No way. No, I'll tell you what. 2 years later, my channel was born.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that.
Theory number 2. His family believed Andrew had gone to London to look at the sights.
bush.
They claimed he knew London and the public transport system well. He had friends and family who lived there and would have enjoyed going to the museums and then visiting them.
Now, this theory, in my opinion, it stinks. First of all, at 14, I never thought about going to London and seeing the sights.
Well, he was a bit of a bit of a smart cookie, maybe a bit of a nerd. Maybe he enjoyed the
I
sights,
feel like
but
this
yeah,
could
I'm with you,
possibly
14
maybe-
years old,
Theory number
Possible?
3. Andrew's father, Kevin, thought it was possible that Andrew was struggling with his sexuality and didn't know what to do. He asked the gay community to help find his son. He said, quote, "We are a pretty open family, so have wondered if he was gay or struggling with his sexual identity and found it too awkward to raise. If he is gay, we do not have any issue with it. He is loved unconditionally by both my wife and I and his sister." Andrew's parents were both committed Christians but had never imposed their religion on their children. Either way, maybe Andrew was scared to tell his parents.
I find this theory quite interesting about his sexuality. Now, we know that London has a massive gay scene, particularly in Soho and places surrounding there. It is known as like
True.
one of the biggest areas where gay people will go, hang out, nights out, things like that. And so that bit's quite interesting. And I think maybe he went down there, but I just think
Maybe,
why?
yeah, it could
Like-
tie into like the person he's meeting.
Yeah, it's like nightclubs, dude. It's like bars. Like, I don't think a 14-year-old want to go to like a place like that. Where's Soho? In central London.
Maybe that, maybe he didn't want to tell his parents because he was going meeting another guy.
Yeah,
Potentially,
that's
I
true.
mean,
That's true.
At the same time, though,
But then, how would he meet him if he didn't have internet?
if he's got no way of contacting people on the internet, I'm not sure how he would get himself involved
In that space.
in a community in London.
Or even know that it exists, particularly.
Yeah. He must have had a burner phone or something.
Bro's convinced he had it. He did have loads of phones,
I
didn't
just have a feeling he had a way to access the internet and they just didn't know about it. Either that or he used to go
Possible?
to the library and use a computer, because I used to do that.
he? Yeah.
Computer at the library. Always used to just like
Banger.
bit of RuneScape on there.
I have a feeling this
RuneScape,
guy
oh
was
God.
destined for better things than endless RuneScape.
I'm telling you, man, he played RuneScape.
6th is a metal band from Hertfordshire who was supposed to be playing on the 7th of July and was going to be the last show with the original vocalist, making it a big
See-
deal for his
See, that is probably the most reasonable one. He did put like a Slipknot t-shirt on just before he left. That would probably be like indicating that he's going there, right? And also, if he had a Christian family, I don't think they would let him listen to music like that.
fans.
So that would explain him not telling the parents that he's going there.
concert was supposed to be at the Carling Academy, which is
Ah.
a walking distance from King's Cross. From the outfit which Andrew changed into, the Slipknot t-shirt and satchel with the
Five
metal
kids.
bands on it, it makes the most sense. He was also known to be a metal band fan. The head of the Met Police's Central Images unit believed this theory the most. He asked people who had attended this concert to send pictures and videos for them to look through and to see if they could spot Andrew.
Oh!
Andrew's father claimed he thought Andrew had gone without permission, as it would have been easier to ask for forgiveness rather than permission.
What was that
This
picture?
is not a bad theory. I'm on board with it. Like we said, he went home. We have to remember, he went home to get changed into this Slipknot t-shirt, right? It wasn't like, was it a conscious decision? Right, I'm going to...
I go to a metal concert. You wanna be wearing your top club, but you know, when we go to watch F1, we put on our F1 jackets,
Yeah,
whatever.
you go into a metal concert, you put on the one metal band t-shirt that you have, right? So that makes sense. But when they were asking everyone to send in like footage to see if they could see him, I think it would be difficult to spot out someone
But then, would they actually? He wouldn't get let in.
in a crowd
into the venue,
anyways.
being 14.
And back then, let's not forget that it's not like it is nowadays where everyone's got a phone and they're like this. Back then, maybe one person will be filming something on a phone at a
Yeah,
concert.
it wouldn't be as common. Also, if he did go home and change, just because you put on this Slipknot t-shirt doesn't mean he's going to a metal thing. Like, you could go home and put on a t-shirt and that's
just
it.
the one-
That's
yeah,
your
it's a
t-shirt you're
coincidence.
wearing for the day now.
It could be a coincidence for sure.
Yeah. It's not a bad shout, though. And it does seem like something you could do because, like you said, getting permission off the parents. To go to
That
a
so
metal
far is the
concert
most
and-
probable, though.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one. And not only that, but then your parents go, yeah, you can go, but I have to come with you, and that was never cool.
Yeah.
You never wanted to go to a
You're
concert
just out there.
with your mum and your dad.
You got your dad next to you just looking at you.
Yeah,
What
that's
have
definitely
I
right.
raised?
Gabe25 wrote this comment under the YouTube video of the channel Peaked Interest. They put forward the theory that the 2-week stay at the university may have played a bigger role than we thought. He supposedly came back more animated and happier, and they guess they met someone at the university. Upon coming back from his trip, he also told his dad he didn't want to be in the Club Scouts anymore. Was he trying to
Okay.
be more mature? Quote, "We know that a key strategy in the Predator
He
group
went to university for
grooming
2 weeks.
process is treating the child like they're more mature than they are. I think it's possible he met a predator at the uni who targeted
no,
him.
dude.
Andrew revealed he liked certain music and bands, and the predator acted like he did also. Before Andrew left, the predator told him such and such
Who
a
is
band
this Gabe25, dude? How does he?
was playing in London on a certain date. And
How does
arranged
he
a
know,
meetup,
dude, all this
so There
info?
was no need for ongoing communication. Since Andrew had not been on the internet, how would he have even known about playdates of any bands? Unless somebody told him.
Now, we love a YouTube comment theory, and this one from Gabe was actually pretty good, and I actually really quite like this. And it was all about, yeah, like we said, there's someone coming down, essentially luring him into London, but it was all stemmed from his time in Lancaster Uni, right, where he did that little stint there for like 2 weeks. He met someone there. The biggest thing here, though, is if it was someone, why would someone at Lancaster Uni
Yeah.
lure someone down to London?
Because it's in the north. It's not. You know
Lancaster-
what?
Yeah.
Unless it's like a disguise, you know what I'm
But
saying?
Lancaster is a long way away from London.
If you told me he went to visit a university that was in London,
Yeah.
and I'd be sold on this theory, 100%.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's it. It has to be that. All makes sense. Unless
The thing is, with this particular theory, there's a lot of...
Unless he was like, oh, you like this, like metal bands? Let's go to this concert in London, you know, or something like that.
I don't want to say reaches, but a lot of things have to fit into place for
You know?
this theory to make sense. It was
there's
like,
always one piece that's not fitting, and right now the piece for this one is that it was at Lancaster University.
and I
Kinda makes
and I
sense.
get that people from London will probably attend Lancaster Uni. That's fine. I just think it'll be very niche.
Yeah.
It was also during the summer period, so all the actual uni students have gone home to wherever they are. So it's really just school kids and the staff there. So unless you want to start looking into the staff of the Lancaster,
thank
bit,
you for the
then the staff all live local.
I'm thinking in
Rip.
my head, potentially, I've
timed
got
out.
one little thing I'm thinking, even if it was a staff member or whatever, they've spoke to him, he's told them how about he lives near, not too far from London, he can travel to London, and they've potentially arranged a little meet-up in London. Because if it's an older
That's
person,
what
they've
I'm
got the
saying.
means and the
That's
money
my
to
theory.
make
To
that
do
happen.
Yeah.
And
But would that person want to like commit a crime as serious as this so far away from what they know? Like, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like doing it
Unless
in
they're
London,
from
you would
London, you
almost be a
know?
bit intimidated yourself being in there. Like, fuck, there's so many people.
Unless they're from London, you just went to Lancaster
Here.
Uni.
I don't know what to do. So I don't know. It is
It's a tough one, that.
the main thing for me though is I don't think, I know he didn't buy the return ticket, right? But I don't think that means he was running away.
no, I don't think it either.
Because the passport's still at home, the birthday money's still there. I think he was planning to go down for London, do something that he probably wasn't supposed to do. You know, his parents were never going to let him go down to London anyways. But yeah, I just think.
Well, the thing is, with these kind of cases, the body, like, let's say something happened to him, the body usually is found,
no,
right?
we'd love to know from you guys what you guys
Like,
think here,
usually.
because it's a really weird one. I honestly have no idea what you could have
It's
gone
a
down
cookie.
there
It's a
for.
good case, though.
It is, and is it really just like a coincidence? Like, has this kid gone down here? He's gone to the concert or whatever,
Yeah.
and then he's walking along the streets of London by himself.
And also,
and
what is, like, the policeman, they had these photos from the CCTV. Like, why didn't they just follow the track,
he's just
man?
like coincidentally fallen victim to something completely spontaneous.
Yeah, I mean, they did say even though he's 14 years old, he looks 12. And if you were a predator like that and you saw a 12-year-old walk in with like his PlayStation, whatever, no parents around, the opportunity is there. It
But
could
it's
be
a
anything
fact,
that.
like look, he hasn't been seen since. Like the guy is.
I mean, there's only been one sighting, right? And that was it a Pizza Hut?
I don't know. There's so many different things. We'd love to hear what you
Pizza
guys have
Hut.
to say, but let's just give you a little update on what's been happening since all of this. So after his disappearance,
Again, this was in like
it's
2006,
about a year
man.
after, the entire school actually went with staff and pupils to London to hand out 15,000 leaflets. So safe to say, the school put in a bit of a shift here. It wasn't like they just
My
sat
school,
there
my secondary school actually had one of those leaflets.
heels and didn't do anything, right? Again, you mentioned the Pizza Hut thing.
Like,
That
we had,
also,
I remember the photo
happened.
of it, and it's
Then
like,
in 2009,
you know, be
so a few
warned,
years
kind of
later,
don't go by yourself,
Andrew's
stuff like that.
dad came out and spoke out, and he actually, in quotes, said it was a spur of the moment thing. And that is kind of what we're
We'll
saying.
do some
like,
more animation.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
could
just
be.
weird for the dad to come out and say that. But anyways, that's what he said. And then not only that, but there was like an age progression photo that was released as to like what he would look like now. When he was 16, which was in 2009.
Also, I don't like, he would have came back, or he would have said something by this
In
time.
2011,
You know,
this is really interesting.
if he was
The
alive,
family
I feel
actually,
like.
paid for a sonar search of the River Thames, right? And that technology allows people to locate, valuable things, even bodies, victims. And it actually led to them finding a body, but unfortunately, it wasn't Andrew. But in a good way,
Bro,
there
I
was a
found
body
some
found,
random
so
body.
hopefully it gave
Still
someone else
something came
closure.
of it. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't actually know that was a thing, and I think that I can only imagine the price that would cost to conduct a sonar search on the River Thames.
That's a bag, sure.
That's not cheap. In 2017, to mark the 10-year anniversary of the disappearance, the charity called Missing People actually used Andrew as the face of their Find Every Child campaign. So he was all over
Oh, yeah.
the billboards in London.
Yeah, that's exactly
and
where I
in
remember
fact,
it
the
from.
police still check the John Does, so the unnamed people in hospital,
Yep.
to see if there's any sort of matchup. In 2018, Andrew would have been 25. So he really is around our age. I think he might be a year older.
Yeah, I think he's a year older than
A year
us.
older than us. But yeah, it's mental to think that, this was all around our time.
Yeah, so when we were his age, when he
This
was
could be
kidnapped
happening.
or whatever happened to him, we were that age playing on our PlayStations, Xboxes, whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
And in 2019, another
It is
age
crazy.
progression photo was released. So when he was about 26 years old. And then right up to date, and this is the biggest bit of news that we have,
Ooh, okay.
is that on January 11th of this year, 2022, the South Yorkshire Police announced that on the 8th of December in 2021, detective arrested two men aged 38 and 45 on suspicion of kidnapping, possession of indecent images of children, and human trafficking. But unfortunately, they did say it takes between 6 to 12 months to fully analyze all the
So
data.
we
they
could be
have.
hopefully
Bro.
hearing some information from that.
It
soon.
also could just be a bit of a reach as well, but fingers
Could be
crossed
just some
something comes
random
of it.
stuff.
But that is this theory. That is this case. I mean, this is such a.
That was kinda
interesting
loaded.
case. One, because it's at our age. So we were doing similar things at the time that he was.
I think for me, the best theory is that he, like they said, they met someone in the university, And I like it could have been possible that the guy, the predator, could have been from like from London, right? Because they said it was in summer, so he could have been back. And then when they're like talking about their common interest in music, maybe he asked him to go to that concert. I don't know, dude. That's my theory. Thank you for watching this video, and also thank you very much to all of my supporters over at Patreon. If you'd like to see these videos earlier, head on to Patreon. And if you want to see more videos, click the videos here for more videos from me.